Demon Assassins, written by Gimpel, narrated by Hollie Jackson. Witch's Bounty, Urban Fantasy Romance, Demon Assassins, Volume 1, written by Gimpel, narrated by Hollie Jackson. Witch's History Primer. In the beginning, Daoine bent over her cauldron, stirring up the world. Sometimes the other Celts helped, but mostly they left her alone because she was so ill-tempered. She created witches somewhere between the Sidhe, dark fae, and druids, borrowing a pinch of this and a bit of that to give them an eclectic mix of magic. Gwydion dropped by one day and leaned over her shoulder, peering into the large black pot. "You've made the witches far too powerful," he complained. Daoine shrugged. She pulled her staff out of the sludge simmering before her, dark eyes flashing dangerously. "Do you want this job?" The master enchanter shook his head. Blonde hair wafted in steam from the cauldron. "No, but you'll rue the day you didn't temper their magic." The goddess narrowed her eyes. "Does Bran, god of prophecy, know you've taken over his job?" Gwydion bristled. "Damn my eyes, woman. You've made witches as strong as the Sidhe." She got to her feet, faced the other god, and thumped his chest with her long-nailed forefinger. "One day we may need that strength." Gwydion looked as if he wanted to say something. Instead, his broad-shouldered form shimmered and disappeared. Good riddance. Daoine sank into a cross-legged sit next to her cauldron and went back to stirring. She'd die before admitting this to the other Celtic gods, but out of all her creations, witches were her favorite. Chapter 1. Rain worsened from a steady drizzle to a pounding, punishing deluge of icy sleet. Colleen Kelly strengthened the spell around herself. It sizzled where it ran up against the droplets. At least she wasn't quite as wet as she would have been without its protection. Pavement glistened wetly in the last of the day's light. It was just past 3 in the afternoon, but December days were short in the northern latitudes, and Fairbanks was pretty far north. "At least it's not snowing," she muttered as she pushed through a nearby glass-fronted door into the magician's supply store she owned with 2 other witches in the older part of downtown. Bells hanging around the door pealed discordantly. She sent a small jolt of magic to silence them. "I heard that." "No."
Sample complete. Ready to continue?